Good afternoon and assalamu alaikum to all the participants from around the world. My name is Yasir Hussain. I have a PhD in language literacy and sociocultural studies from the University of New Mexico in the US, and my concentration has been teaching English to speakers of other languages. So let's get started. Okay, what is the agenda for the seminar? By the way, the picture on the right, what you can see is generated by Nvivo. So the first day today, we will be, helping ourselves uploading the data, and I hope you have downloaded the this Nvivo software, because if you haven't, it would be really difficult for us to you work together on the projects that we are about to do. So to understand codes, nodes, which are themes in Nvivo, because nodes are called themes, so don't be confused with these terms. These are specifically for Nvivo, and the classifications. Then we talk about cases and case classification, and I'll let you know about that when we talk about cases. Cases means people who are involved in research, names or places, etc. Then we'll talk about memos and annotation. So I kept it short for this particular time because I guess this is a lot for 1 hour, and then I will have 30 or 45 minutes, whatever time we have, to have a practice and have time for your question and answer. So let's move on. And second day, we'll talk about coding comparisons of various types. Then we'll talk about mind maps. So the second day is more about how we can express the data that we have uploaded in Vivo. So the first day is kind of feeding, the second day is kind of taking it out. Though we will be mixing things up, we'll be talking about the expression of the data in the first day as well. So sets, nodes, matrices, exporting data and results, review of both days, and hands-on practice, of course. So before that, I just wanted to talk about different research kind, because when I was going through your feedback questions, but when you were filling out for registration, I saw a lot of people who were wondering what qualitative research was and how it's done. I'm not talking about the researchers who have been researching. I know the audience is full of experienced researchers as well. But I'm talking about someone who is a student and who is wondering how this could be different from other sources of data. So research designs, we have quantitative designs, and you know about that. If you don't know, we will not be talking about that. Unfortunately, we'll be talking specifically about the qualitative analysis and qualitative data. So let's forget about the things on the left and the right and focus on what we have in the center, which is qualitative research design. We have a grounded theory, phenomenology, ethnography, narrative, and case studies. These are the 5 major designs that we usually follow. And fortunately, the good news is that Nvivo helps you in capturing the data or analyzing the data and keep it organized from all these sorts of research designs and approaches. Just another visual about how and what kind of data we usually deal with. When we talk about research, you have interviews, you have documents, you have observation, you have focus groups. So all those are different ways in which you have data coming into the researcher's notebook, and then you later on take it to different softwares. So different types of qualitative data. We have structured text. For example, we have writing, stories, and survey comments, and news article and books. These are the structured items that you are not manipulating with. You're not changing them in any case because they're already structured for you. The unstructured one is usually like transcription, because you're changing the mode of verbal expressions into words, text. Interviews, because again they are in form of spoken words, and you're changing them into text, and focus groups and conversation. So you are also having a big role in giving it a structure. So that's why it's unstructured, and you're responsible for structuring according to your needs and research approaches. Then we have audio recordings. Now, you know, there are different music and sounds and all kind of audio clips and video clips, and you have graphic art, pictures, visuals. So you have all these sorts of data that is actually accepted and welcomed by Nvivo. So type of qualitative analysis, I'm just quickly going through this preamble so that you understand what we're talking about when it comes to analyzing our data. So ethnography, analytical induction, content analysis, thematic analysis, grounded theory, phenomenology, and narrative and biography. So you probably have heard all these names if you're a qualitative researcher or you're invested in that kind of research. We have different type of analyses that we talk about. Almost all of them, they are taken in a particular manner, like how do you collect the data and what kind of analysis you do, like discourse analysis and all that. So again, Nvivo will be able to help you with that. So about Nvivo, what is Nvivo? It's a software, it's a tool that can help you, first of all, organize your data. I mean, that's the biggest job it does. It does not do all your work. It is not on the driving seat, but you are on the driving seat. So you're the one who is driving this research, and Nvivo is that vehicle that you have to drive smartly. So it will accept textual and video and pictures, as I said, and social media is one of the big things these days in research. And it also helps you understand and make meaning of social media research. So some people ask about it can help with literature review. It can help with transcribing data. It can help you with within the software. It can help you analyze pictures, video, and text. So all these are some of the ways that Nvivo can help you with your data. Literature review is a big topic in itself, so it will take another hour or so just talking about how Nvivo can help you with literature review. So let's just keep it brief when we come to unfolding Nvivo. Transcribing data. Transcription is one of the headache for researchers because qualitative research has a big data and people spend a lot of time transcribing data from spoken or verbal form into written text. So that's one of the problem that Nvivo can also solve for you, but of course you have to pay for that particular one. And the trial version that you might have uploaded or installed will have 15 minutes of free transcription, so you can do your exercise on that. And then of course the other things, pictures and video and social media. So the biggest thing is that it helps you analyze and keep your data organized, because as researchers, you are not going to remember everything. You will forget about what happened a year ago. So it will keep you organized and you'll be able to take help from it. Uploading data and organizing data. This is the first one that we'll be starting with. So let me just show you what Nvivo can do and what Nvivo looks like before we start with this one, because I wanted to show you the picture of whatever we are doing first, and then let me open Nvivo, and it's sitting on my desktop, and this is Nvivo 12. Now, one of the disclaimer is that since I have a Mac system, that's why my Nvivo is for Mac, and probably you have Windows PC, and that's why your Nvivo trial version might look different, little different, which should not worry you because it's not a big difference. It's just small, here and there, and it does almost the same kind of work. So don't be turned off with the differences that we might find in our interface, but this is how it looks like. The number of things that I can show you are in Nvivo. So Nvivo 12, and that's very important because if you have Nvivo 11 or maybe something before that or 10, that could be completely different, and there will be limited options for you. So this one, let's say learn about Nvivo app. If I click on this one, it will take me to the website. So it will take me to the website and it will show me where you can download. So those of you who have not downloaded and installed the trial version, they can go and maybe buy it or install it from here. And then you can see number of resources that they have in form of videos, coding your data and all that. And there's so many other resources that you might find on internet and YouTube. So just, giving you a hint that these things are there for your assistance. Okay, let me open Nvivo again. And the other one, you can chat with them. You can chat, access support resources. You can chat to their, representatives, and they can help you out with whatever problem you have. Coming to the top, we can create new project. The new project will be completely blank. It will have nothing. So you have to start everything. So I'm not starting with a new project because then we won't be having any material for practicing on hands-on practice on that. So we'll not do that because then it will take a lot of our time to upload the data. And this problem has been solved by the sample project, which we all share in our copies. So your copy will also have a sample project which is there in mine as well. So we'll actually work with the sample project because this will have the pre-uploaded data for us to practice on, to work with. You can also see other researches, and probably you don't have it because you haven't worked with Nvivo, but since I've been using Nvivo for quite some time, so I have some projects over there. So let's get started with the sample project. I click open and it will take me to the interface of Nvivo. Just want to minimize everything so that you see I'm starting from the interface of Nvivo. So this is how Nvivo looks like, and I'll take you back and forth to the PowerPoint presentation so that you understand that I'm talking about this particular section. If you go back, this is the display menu, the top one, and you can see home, create, data, analyze, query, explore, layout, view, and you can change the view from, let's say, I don't like this kind of view, I want to have the display at the bottom. Let's open this project first so that you can see that this is the display, and this is the what we call the navigation view. This is called the list view, file list, and this is the display. Sorry, this is the main menu. So when you do that, if I don't like this view, I can change it back to where my display is on the right side. All right. So I have these files, and I'm able to, if I want to upload the data, my data is here, and in the top, my data is here. So probably this looks like import in the Windows version. You have an import button that you can select, and then you can import files. So starting from the beginning, Nvivo can also bring in the whole project. Now, what does that mean? So somebody has worked on Nvivo, and my co-researcher, my friend, has sent me a file, and the Nvivo file should look like, let's say I click on this one, it will take me to my document, and Nvivo sample project, and all these files are stored in your document. You can simply email that to your friend, and then they can work with that. Depending on which system are using, Windows and Mac, again, there'll be a little bit of file formatting difference, but that should not be an issue. All right. So the next one is document, and then you have document of different sorts, like PDFs, data set, pictures, and capture used for social media, audio, video, and then transcription row, which we have enabled because I don't have that access. Memos, OneNote data, classification sheet, and bibliographic data. Now this section is for the export, so we're not talking about this one yet. We're talking about this section. Let's upload like a couple of PDFs, and I want to close this I'll come here and I'll close everything so that we have a clean slate. We don't have anything and we can start over. So I click on document. It will take me to a file, and only the files that are compatible with the document folder, either in PDF or docs file, will be able to, I'll be able to see them. It will be highlighted. So I can upload these files. Let's say I upload this one, and I upload this one, and I say import. It might take a little while depending on your system strength, how quick it is, and it will open up as you double click them when they are uploaded. So yes, we have them uploaded, and you can see my file, the research WPS, and the one with the death of the author by Ron Barth. It's another file that we have. So I uploaded two. There were two already existing files. So these are my files that I added. Let's say I open this file. Okay, I have it now uploaded in Nvivo. What I do with it is coming later on. We'll talk about that later on. But first, let's upload different sorts of document. In PDF, again, you will have PDF document that you can upload. So I'm quickly skipping that and coming to, let's say you want to have a data set. Data set, let's say it's an Excel sheet that you are importing into your system. So this is an Excel sheet, and I want to import this, and we'll ask you for some information that how do you want to format in Nvivo, and then you can just simply upload or import the file. So you can see quickly the file, whichever box I click, I can see that there are different boxes, columns, and rows. So it's now in my system. That's what I wanted to tell you. All right, so you can see that. And then let's close this all and then come back to all right, what else we have? Pictures. I want to upload a picture, and I have a picture here that I want to upload. I quickly say that I want to upload the picture. I want to give it a name. Let's say I want to give it a name. Picture of, let's say, COVID-19. I want to give it a specific color. I mean, that will be used later on when we're doing the coding by color. Classification, you want to use that as image general, and then you want to use the date. Let's say it's August or maybe November. Okay, November 23rd, 2020. And then you can also give it source, where did you take the picture from, and etc. So you can add whatever township it was, maybe it was Tehran, and you say done. So this will be, the data that you're doing for your picture coding. So when you're doing coding, I'll let you know what we have to do with the picture when we come to the coding section. So let's close that down. You come back, you close all so that we are not confused with whatever we're doing. After that, let's come to end capture. End capture is for social media. For example, I have, and it works best with Google Chrome. So you can have an extension for Google Chrome, and I have already uploaded that. I have already installed and uploaded Google extension, but you can do that with saying encapture for Chrome. Let's say you come and get it from encapture for Chrome, and this is the website you're opening, and then you are capturing this image. You simply click on here and say encapture. You can save this as a web page which will have all the advertisements and everything, and you can also save it as an article. So depending on what you want to do with it, you can add description, whatever you're using it for, and you can say capture. So it will take me there, and then I can see that it's capturing that one. I can go back to Nvivo and see if it has captured my image. Yes, it has today 424, and I can simply import. All right, so now you can add descriptions, whatever description you want to add with this particular image. This is the name. You can change the name, right? I just change the name. I can give it a particular color. If I like red, it will go to the reference section because the metadata is not being given by Nvivo. It means that Nvivo does not understand the file format. Nvivo understand it just like a picture. So you have to give some, access information and add it to library and author's name. So whatever you want to do, you can give extra detail with that, and it will be a very comprehensive document for you. Okay, so this is what we have. All right, so let's go back to close it down again. I'm closing each and every file that I've opened so that you're not confused of which one we are working on right now. All right, and then we have audios and videos. So let's do audios and videos together. Let's import a video because a video will have an audio embedded. So let's say this is a video and I want to import the video. Now video is a big file, so it will take a while. It will take a while in getting uploaded. So probably that's what is taking time. So we'll just wait a while. I received a question, probably was about, can we import from SPSS? Yes, we can. We can import from all the different qualitative analysis tools, like all the software. For example, the Excel sheet that I just had. I'm not aware of how SPSS works, but SPSS, if it generates the file like, okay, we have it now. If we have the file like Excel sheet, yes, and even more, we can do that too. So we open the video. So code book. So now we can, this is our video. We can work with the video later on, but I just wanted to show that it would support videos. So classification code book, if you ask me about Excel sheet will be this one. So you have an Excel sheet, you will have the code book. You will have the coded version of that, and you can import it from the other software. I don't have that kind of file with me, otherwise I would have showed it to you. You can do memo. So if I have a memo, which is a simple doc file, I can do that too. All right, so yes, I think it just came in. So we can add description, we can give it value. Let's put that in interview and assign the date or interview or whatever. And memos are used, and I'll let you know about the use when talking about memos in particular, but memos are the, very good tool for letting different researchers know about your work. They're reading the file of the participant, but they're also looking at your notes. So you have given a memo with your work. All right, so bibliographic data, classification sheet, bibliographic data. Let's come and do bibliographic data. If you've worked with any referencing tool like literature review, referencing tool, EndNote, Mendeley, RefWorks, Zotero, you'll be able to understand that, excuse me, you'll be able to tell that they are very good organizing tools for literature review, and it can generate your reference list very quickly. So let's say work with Zotero. Zotero is a free online, and then you can upload it into your system as well. It's a free software, and then you can upload it from there. So I've generated a file which is an RIS file. Now, I'm not going into detail with this one because if you haven't used Zotero, this might not mean a lot to you, but you can later on work with it. So it will open and it will ask you for all this information, and you can quickly go through that and it will upload your file. All right, let's go back and see what we can do with file classification. Because the next topic that we were supposed to cover today is file classification. Now, file classification is arranging the files according to their types. Externals are some of the data that you have not, the Nvivo software does not understand the formatting, just like the picture, and the picture has a document. If you have a book that you want to bring into your work, and it's a physical book, and you just take a picture of the title and you want to add it to Nvivo, you can do that with externals. And PDF books is also a good way of doing a literature review. It's good for your literature review. It's good that you can make your own notes through that. So let's quickly do file classification and how it works. All right, so we have file classification. I mean, these are the categories that they have done for us, but let's do file classification from the files. I identify, let's say, research WPS file as what? As an interview. So I can come to the bottom and say it was an interview. I can just say it was an interview, right? And when I go to interview, so I'll be able to see that that file. Let's do another one. Let's say this is a video. I classify that as image. We'll go into image section. If I understand that this is also an interview, I can classify it as an interview. Now this is important because it will help you classify your different files into different modes. So you have file classification, you have interviews, and what kind of interviews we have? So yes, this is the file that we were looking for, that we identified as an interview. There was another file that we identified as an interview, which is this one. So it goes into the interview section and not the images. So whenever you go for interviews, you will be the one who is directing different items into different folders. Let's say we picture of COVID that we identified is under images. I just identified it as an image. So it will take me over there. So file classification will help you um, do these different kind of classifications that can help you then find your file quickly. And external, as I just talked about, external are the resources that you can use for putting data into your work, and they are not identified by the Nvivo software. So you can do that quickly. All right, so let me close this down and go back to the most important part of our um, webinar and about Nvivo, which is coding. Coding and nodes. So as I was telling you that coding and nodes are coding, you know that if you have done research, you do small codes, you pick out different words, group of words, sentences, passages, parts of a picture, pieces from an audio or numbers, etc., video. All these are different pieces of data that you can code for research purposes, and then you make themes out of them. So themes in Nvivos are nodes. They're called nodes. So you're making their containers where you're keeping your coding, and then you're further moving with your codes. So there are two ways of doing your coding. One is that you can do a pre-decided coding. For example, if you are working on a particular philosophy or framework, you can say that I know what I'm looking for in my data. So you can come from that particular aspect, that particular angle. But if you are coming from, a grounded theory approach, or you want to read the text first and then you want to find out what are your themes and what are your codes, then you have to read the text first. I mean, you have to read the text in both ways, but in one you already have decided what you're looking for, and the other one you are looking for whatever comes in front of you so that you can code. Uh, there are two ways of coding, two particular ways. One is manual coded, which is recommended because this will help you read your data in detail, and there's also auto coding, which has some limited ways of coding your data. So I'll focus on the manual one, and if you have a question later on, we can do the auto one as well, but I'll focus more on the manual because this is what is going to be beneficial for everyone. So let's say we haven't done any coding yet, and I want to do some coding, right? So I'm starting with any file that I have opened. So let's say I open in my files, I open interviews, and there are these files already existing files because a sample project, and you also have the same project, and I want to open William's interview, right? So this is William's interview, and I want to code that. Now let's say I like this line which says I've owned my house, my brother was living in the Carteret County and the folk was there and all that. So let's say that I want to code that. I like this because it is something very meaningful for my research. I highlight that and then I go right click and I say Nvivo code selection. Do you want to make a separate code, and do you want to make a case, which we'll be talking later on? But if you want to make a new node of that, let's say I want to make a new node of that, you will see that a small window pops up, and then you have to give it a particular name. For example, I give it a name relationship and places. This is my just random code, and I just give it a particular color, and I don't aggregate coding from the child node because there are levels of coding. You have a big node, the parent node, and then you have child nodes, and then you can go on and make hierarchical nodes. I say done. So let's say I come back to nodes. Now, what was the name? Relationship and places. The relationship and places, and I click on that one, and it takes me to where I coded the particular reference. My brother was living in particular county and natural place for me and vacation, all that. Now, this is what I just coded for you. We have already coded that I can show you. But if you click on this one, it takes you to the references. It takes you again to the file where you took it from. So research is all about if you could trace it back to the original source. And that's how it is done. It is done. So it's taking you back to the original source and you're able to do that. Let's say I do something else. I'll pick out another interview, or maybe from the same interview, and I say I want to do this. You know, the tourists come and all that. So I want to give either a new code or I want to add into existing code. If I want to add into existing code, I can say this, and then we have a lot of coded material that we can add it to. Like I add this one to balance because they have identified these themes, these nodes, and I just simply put it that balance. Okay, let's go back to nodes. Let's come back to balance. Okay, I think it was this one or this one. Which one was that? I just forgot about the person that we were, having interview, but will come here and will be termed as, let's do it again. Let's come to, let's say Thomas. Yes, I'm not down Easter to live by, and I say I want to add into existing node. And I say infrastructure. I'm not, okay. So it should be here, infrastructure. So this is the one that we were looking for. And it will take me back to the same interview. So you can do that. The other way is also when you are coding your data is if you don't have a name for any particular data, you can make, let's say there's a term I like, down Easters. I like this term. And I tell Nvivo to just code in Vivo. It will just give the same name. I don't want to think about another name. I just want to give it another name. So down Easter is now a code in itself, which means a node in itself. If I open this, it will take me to this one word. But there's something that I can do with that. I can spread it. I can spread it, let's say narrow, and I understand by why the down Easter. I see the whole sentence. I see it in the context. I spread it further broad, and I see the whole paragraph. So it's not just a word that you're coding. You can trace it back to the whole context, right? Let's do picture coding. So there were, if you remember, we had those pictures, picture of COVID that we uploaded in the beginning. And I want to code this one. So first of all, I'll say edit, and I'll choose a particular area. Let's say I choose this woman's face, and I want to code that. You are not able to see, but it says add, which is a plus sign. I add this one, and I see there is a small box within a box. and that box represents this area. And I want to talk about this area as woman wearing a face mask. Okay, so my theme is basically COVID-19, and I'm choosing a lady who is wearing a mask, right? So this becomes one, and if I want to add another, or if I want to, code another piece of, I can have more. I can have another part of the picture being coded, and so on and so forth. All right. So let's open these nodes and different nodes that we have. Let's say we have different nodes. They come in particular structure, and you have to structure them according to your own understanding, according to your own theme. So whatever you know about the picture will be able to help you understand your research. So if I say that attitude, mixed attitude, negative attitude, all these attitude are coming under the attitude, so I should bring them in this particular node, right? If I say balance should also be in the attitude, I can click on this one and I drag it in attitude, and you will be able to see that now balance is also the part of attitude. So this is the parent node. This one, attitude, is the parent node, and all these are the children. If I want to add mixed into balance, I can drag this one and I can put that into balance. Now the child node also has another child. So there's a hierarchy. There is a level of understanding. Let me give you another gimmick. Now, if you select all of these and you right click on this one and you want to visualize this as a hierarchy chart of nodes, you'll be able to see this particular structure. Now, attitude has images, positive and all that, and you'll be able to see all your themes, which are nodes, in this visual way. So your smaller nodes, bigger nodes, which nodes are you following the most? What is your interest area? And you can do that by doing sunburst, which is this kind of image, or you can write the summary, which is this. So the node attitude is coming like 1000 times. Attitude and balance and mixed are coming in these number of ways, or these number of times, and you just talking about them in terms of numbers or pictures or another chart. So this is what you can do with Nvivo, and probably you have seen these charts. Okay, so, and we have more like these, like mind maps. Whenever we're doing mind maps and all those other things, we'll be able to talk about the visualization of your data. So this is very important, that you understand your nodes. You are able to apply your nodes to your research study. And this is how you make meaning of your study. If you understand that one aspect will be coming under the other aspect. So economy, they already have coded this particular data. So economy will have agriculture, and fishing has its own child node, and child node has its own other child nodes, and you can add the details as much as possible. All right. So let's do cases quickly, because I guess we are running out of time. It's already 4:47. Let's do cases, and then I can take your questions, then we can do other parts of Nvivo. SQL places. Cases gives coding can also help you with that, but it is attributes of the cases. You can talk about the attributes of the cases. Case classification can help you in the way that file classification was helping you identify different files into different folders. So let's do that. Let's see how it looks like. when we talk about cases, they have cases and they have case classification. So let's say we have cases in terms of people. Uh, Navigation view, you can see that there are people and places that they identify. But let's do it hands-on. Let's pick out an interview again and say that this is an interview that Nvivo understands as a document. And you have not told who is talking in this interview, who is the interviewee, who is the interviewer. So you're just wondering how can that happen. So let's say I say Susan talks about this. I just select the whole paragraph or two and I say code or make a new case. We say a new case. All right, so I have to give it a name. Susan can be a person. I can just put Susan in the persons and I can give different values to, if it's a person, yes, a person. Let's change the name then. Living, applicable, and community. If she lives in a particular community, I can do that. I can say yes, etc. Education level. You can write gender. So you can segregate the data according to who is the person, because you identify this as a person. And you can say place or a Twitter user or whatever. So I identify it as a person. Now Susan is here. In file classification or case classification, I'll be able to see there's so many things that they have done. I'll be able to see Susan, right? So I have a case. Now, this is very important because you are able to put people in different containers. You're not talking about like this data has people and this data has places, and then you can see it's been identified with different names and Twitter users and all those things. So cases are those containers for people or places. And if you want to find out how Susan was talking about living and being happy, you can just go and find everything about Susan. So moving on to memos, because I want to cover memos first and then we can take the question answer in the last half an hour. So we have memos, I just talked about, and then we have memo links and we have annotations. Let's see what memo is doing with our data. So you want to write, these are called all notes. They will come under the discussion of notes. Memo, so you want to add a memo. Let's say this again is an interview, and this interview I want to add a memo, link to a new memo. So if I say I want to link to a new memo, means I want to talk about this interview with my partner who is also researching on the same issue, and I want to make a note of that, a new memo. So I should give it a name, happiness, and I want to add a description. This person is looking for happy life. Can you think why? I mean, this is my question for my fellow researcher. So I'm putting that in a memo and I'm just saying done, right? So this becomes my memo. Happiness, here is my memo. Okay, so in the similar way, annotation, again, if I go for any interview or document and I want to, and I'm reading it, because it's the best way that you read your document within Nvivo. You are doing the reading within Nvivo as you are coding the data. So I like something, I like 10 to 12 of us kids. and I am adding an annotation, new annotation. It's just like, can this number be increased? I mean, this is a question for me, the question for me as a researcher. And I'm wondering why there are 10 or 12 kids and not more or less. So I put a question and I put that in the form of annotation. So this becomes my annotation. Now, whenever you open the file and you come here, or it will be highlighted with a particular color, right? So this one. So you come to annotation, see it has opened this one for us. It will also be 10 to 12 kid, and will be the part of the annotations that I made. Okay. So this is my annotation that I just created. Can this number be increased? If I click on this one, it will take me to the annotation. All right. The other one is memo links. Uh, so for example, let's pick out any interview. This person has a memo and open linked memo. If anyone has done a memo with this particular interview, I'll ask open the particular memo. If there's a memo, it will open up. If there's no memo, it will not open up. So this is what we have for today. I don't want you to be burdened with a lot of information, and I'll take up questions if you have any, and then we can also practice uploading files or making node, and we can exercise all these different items.